And in anatomy, you have seen the typical shape of the stomach here. Okay, where we have esophagus connected with the stomach with the esophageal sphincter, and then stomach is connected to the intestine with the pyloric sphincter. So chemical examination of gastric content has limited but specific value in diagnosis and assessment of disorders of upper gastrointestinal tract. We can do the chemical examination of the gastric content. The gastric there are gastric juice are there in the stomach. So we can take the gastric juice as a sample. We can do the chemical examination, and we can diagnose as well as we can assess the disorders of upper gastrointestinal tract. The normal gastric juice per day is about 1 liter. So in fasting state, if you collect gastric juice, so we'll see that there are approximately 1 liter of gastric juice are present in the stomach in normal fasting condition. Stomach of a person taking normal diet secretes 2 liter to 3 liter of gastric juice per day. So this is the estimated amount of gastric juice that a person who take diet a meal, everybody takes a meal, right? So approximately 2 liter to 3 liter of gastric juice is produced every day. But in the resting state, or what we say in the fasting state, in the morning time, we can see that 1 liter of gastric juice can be present in the stomach. Are you able to understand? So this is about the gastric juice, the volume of gastric juice during normal fasting condition, and the person who are taking normal diet. So this is what the volume of the gastric juice present in the stomach. Let's know about the contents of the stomach. So the contents of the stomach, that is what we saw. We see that the gastric juice, those gastric juice should be examined during resting period. So we can examine the gastric fluid during resting period or during fasting period, during digestion after meals. So when we take meal and during digestion process, we can see that how much gastric juice has been produced, right? And even we can check if there is a gastric juice after stimulation, something we can intake. Okay, so that like caffeine helps to stimulate the gastric juice. So we can take some stimulant which may be able to stimulate the formation of gastric juice. So here we can examine stomach contents in different period of time. We can take fasting sample, what we call during resting period. We can take stomach content during digestion period, just after intake of meal, and we can collect gastric juice after intake of some stimulants. What are the chief constituents of gastric juice? We are talking about the component or composition of gastric juice, right? HCl is the chief constituent secreted by parietal cells of the stomach. Pepsinogen is one of the enzyme secreted by chief cells. Intrinsic factor is also produced in the stomach, which is required for absorption of vitamin B12, and alkaline mucus, which coat the gastric wall and act as a lubricant. It also prevents the harmful effect from HCl and pepsinogen. So these are the the contents present in the gastric juice. These are the components. Yes, is my voice audible to you? Can you respond, one of you?
Yes, sir, your voice is very audible. We are listening.
Okay, you will understand. So next slide. This is the one of the image showing different cells present in the stomach. You can see chief cell, endocrine cells, parietal cells, mucous cells, surface mucous cells. Okay, so gastric pits are there. We can see gastric pits. These are the gastric pits are there. This one. Okay, gastric pits. This is the space. So this is the structure of the arrangement of the cells in the stomach, right? So this is the present in the fundus region of the or the base of the stomach, where we can see different cells, and it has a different function. Now indication when we can do gastric function test to diagnose gastric ulcer. Someone might have a gastric ulcer. How can we diagnose it? We can diagnose it gastric ulcer with the help of gastric function test to exclude the diagnosis of pernicious anemia and peptic ulcer. These two, disorder. One is the pernicious anemia, another is peptic ulcer. How can we differentiate it? So we can do the gastric function test for presumptive diagnosis of Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. This is one of the syndrome related to the stomach disorder. So we can diagnose Zollinger-Ellison syndrome with the help of gastric function test. To determine completeness of surgical vagotomy. So this is the another indications. If you do the surgical vagotomy, then at that time uh, gastric function test help us to diagnose it. What is vagotomy? It's a surgical operation in which one or more branches of the vagus nerves are cut. So vagotomy is the process of cutting of the vagus nerves. It typically reduces the rate of gastric secretion. This is done while treating the peptic ulcer. Okay, if there is a peptic ulcer in the stomach, so that ulcer treatment here vagotomy process is usually carried out. So the completeness of surgical vagotomy means if the surgical vagotomy is process is completed at that time we can do the gastric function test, right? So we have studied different indications like diagnosis of gastric ulcer, diagnosis of pernicious anemia, diagnosis of peptic ulcer, Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, and to determine if the procedure of surgical vagotomy has been completed. Now, how can we collect the content of the stomach? So here there is a specialized tubes are present called as a Ryle's tube. You can see in the image, this is the Ryle tubes. Okay, these Ryle's tubes are inserted through the nasogastric tube. Okay, this is what we can see in the image. The inserting of the nasogastric tube or the Ryle's tube. Ryle's tube is also known as nasogastric tube. Okay, so we can insert it from the nose. Okay, it goes through the esophagus and finally it comes into the stomach. So from the stomach we can aspirate some of the gastric content. So Ryle's tube or nasogastric tubes can be used for collection of the content of the stomach. There are the classification of gastric function tests. First one, analysis of resting contents, where the resting contents are the what without any stimulation, we can check the composition of gastric juice. Without eating, we can at the time of resting period, you can collect the gastric juice and we can uh, uh, we can analyze the chemical component of the gastric juice. So here, this is what we call gastric residuum. So analysis of gastric resting contents. So gastric residuum can be taken out. Fractional test meal analysis. This is the second class of the gastric function test, where we can here fractional gastric analysis using a test meal is done. So we can prepare a test meal and we can ask the patient to eat the test meal. And after eating of the test meal, we can collect the gastric content. So that is known as a fractional test meal analysis. Analysis after stimulation. In this class of the gastric function test, we can collect gastric content after giving some stimulant like alcohol, caffeine, histamine, insulin, pentacastrin. So these are the stimulant we can give to the patient, and in response to this stimulant, the stomach produces gastric juice. And so that after stimulation, how much gastric juice has been produced and what are the chemical component of the gastric juice, so we can analyze in that condition. So this is the gastric function test analyze after stimulation, right? And the last one is a tubeless gastric analysis. Here in this procedure, we do not insert any Ryle's tube. It is a tubeless process. So used as a screening test. This is used as a screening test. Here you can just take a blood sample, or we can just take a we can just do some physical examination or something else, where we do not do the inserting of the Ryle's tube through the nose, through the esophagus to the stomach to collect the gastric juice, right? Now, analysis of the resting content. What do we analyze in the resting contents? If you are doing the gastric function test, basically the resting contents, if you are examining, then what we do the analysis, we just will measure the volume of the gastric juice, we'll see the consistency of the fluid, we'll see the color of the fluid. If you can detect if there is a bile in the gastric juice, you can check if there is a blood in the gastric juice. So these are the the different ingredients which we can try to find out in the the gastric juice. So volume, consistency, color, bile, blood, mucus, pepsin, free acidity, total acidity, organic acidity. So these things we can examine in the gastric juice under the resting stage. Analysis of resting contents. So normally the normal volume, when we aspirate gastric juice through the Ryle's tube, so normally the volume is collected is to 20 to 50 ml. If the volume which is collected at the moment is more than 100 to 120 ml, so it means it's a hypersecretion of gastric juice, or it can be the retention due to delayed emptying, or it can be regurgitation of duodenal content. Regurgitation means there is an influx of the duodenal content into the stomach. So in that condition, there may be the volume of the juice more than 100 to 120 ml. Now, if you talk about the consistency, the gastric juice is fluid in nature. In abnormal condition, we can find some food residues, which are undigested food. Usually, we can find this in the carcinoma of stomach. Now, let's talk about the color. Color is clear, colorless, or slightly yellowish or green. So this is the normal appearance. but abnormally the color becomes red or brown due to the blood. It indicates that there is a bleeding in the gastric juice, or there may be the carcinoma of the stomach. Now let's talk about the bile. Bile is normally not present. It may be occasionally present. And if it is increased in amount, then it is abnormal condition. The causes is intestinal obstruction and ileal stasis. Maybe there is a blockage in the intestine, or there may be the blockage in the ileal region of the large intestine. Mucus may be present in a small amount. If present increased in amount, then it is abnormal condition. The reason behind this is the causes is it's gastritis or carcinoma of the stomach. So this is the our interpretation when we do the analysis of testing contents. If you talk about the organic acid, so organic acid presence is considered as a normal, but instead of organic acid, if there is a lactic acid, butyric acid present in large amount, then this is considered as a abnormal. The reason behind this is hypochlorhydria, achlorhydria, okay, or stomach. There is a the stomach is not functioning properly, we can say. Okay, so here organic acid presence is considered as a normal, but increase in the organic concentration, organic acid content is considered as a abnormal condition. And the reason behind this is because of hypochlorhydria or achlorhydria. Okay, the next is the free acidity. Usually the free acidity we measure only HCl, which is normally 0 to 30 milliequivalent per liter. But the free acidity, if it is more than 50 milliequivalent per liter, then it is abnormal. And the reason is because of hyperacidity. Total acidity okay, Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. So these are the causes of what we say decrease or increase level of pepsin in the gastric contents. Now fractional test meal analysis we are going to know. This is the second class of the test, gastric function test, fractional test analysis. Test meal where we give the test meal to the patient. Like different meals used are Ewald test meal, which contains 2 pieces of toast and 250 ml of tea. So this is a Ewald test meal, right? Ewald test meal is it contains 2 pieces of toast and 250 ml of tea. So this is what we consider as a Ewald test meal. Second, we can give the oatmeal porridge. So oatmeal porridge can be also be given as a test meal. So these test meals are given to the patient. Either we can give Ewald test meal or we can give oatmeal porridge. And after that we can collect the gastric content and we can measure the whatever the parameters we have studied. We can measure it out. So procedure. After removing residual contents, meal is given. First of all, we need to remove the residual content with the help of rice tube. Then after that, a meal is given. With the interval of 15 minutes, contents of stomachs are removed, strained, and analyzed. So this is what this is the procedure of fractional test meal analysis. At the first attempt, you need to remove the residual contents. Means at the time that without eating time, there may be some small volume of the gastric juice present in the stomach. So it should be removed first. Then the test meal is given to the patient, and after that, with the interval of 15 minutes, the contents of the stomachs are removed, then we can analyze this. Normal response, the free acid rises steadily from 15 minutes to half an hour or 45 minutes, and then after that decreases. This is the normal response. Hyperchlorhydria. What is hyperchlorhydria? What is hypochlorhydria? And what is achlorhydria? There are three conditions we can be able to analyze through the fractional test meal analysis. And again, Echinacea gastrica also. There are four conditions we can analyze it. So hyperchlorhydria is a condition when the free acid is more than 15 milliequivalent per liter. There is a duodenal ulcer, there is a gastric ulcer. These are the causes. There can be the gastric cell hyperplasia, or there can be the Zollinger Ellison syndrome. So hypochlorhydria, where we can see there is a atonic dyspepsia. Okay, dyspepsia. What is the dyspepsia? Let's know about this. Atonic dyspepsia. It's a condition characterized by a loss of tone in the digestive organ. Okay, atonic means that the tone is lost with little or no appetite, often loathing of food, or even sometimes nausea will take place. Okay, so this is the hypochlorhydria, where the HCl is produced less in amount. Achlorhydria is a condition where no HCl but the pepsin is present. The pepsin may be present and seen in chronic gastritis, right? Echinacea gastrica, where both HCl and pepsin are absent. Later stage of carcinoma of stomach, and the chronic gastritis, pernicious anemia. So these are the conditions where we can see the both HCl and pepsins are absent, and the condition is called as a Echinacea gastrica. Here CA of stomach means this is a carcinoma of stomach. Okay, you have to understand the carcinoma of stomach. Hypochlorhydria occurs when there is a carcinoma of stomach, right? So in carcinoma of stomach, we can see hypochlorhydria or Echinacea gastrica also. Analysis after stimulation. We can give some stimulant such as alcohol stimulation, where the residual contents removed after overnight fasting. First of all, the patient are suggested to go for overnight fasting, and in the morning time, the patient arrived to the laboratory, so we can insert the Ryle's tube and we can remove the residual contents from the stomach. Then 7%, 100 ml of ethyl alcohol is given. 7%, 100 ml of ethyl alcohol is given to the patient, and samples are taken every 15 minutes. We can take the sample every 15 minutes, and we can analyze for free total acidity, pepsin, blood, bile, and mucus. Yes, Amisa, any problem?
अगले क्लास के लिए भी वो रिवीजन करना था.
Okay, so okay, no problem. We can revise the next. We can continue. Basically, we can continue from analysis after stimulation. We can do the test. We can study the test analysis after stimulation in the next lecture. Okay. Now, till now, if you have any question, you can ask me. Do you have any question till now? Do you have any question?